Hello and welcome to the latest edition of Lunchtime Learning. Delighted to be joined once again for the 75th million time, Jerry Lyons. If anybody doesn't know Jerry Lyons, I've got absolutely no idea where you have been. I am incredibly grateful to Jerry. I'm sure most of you know this story, but I'm going to embarrass him again. Jerry tried to nick my idea of computer for schools. And we went on the Estate Agents podcast. Yes, there is a memory blast from the past. And we were talking about getting the suppliers involved. And Jerry was kind enough to help me with it, set it all up, set up the GoFundMe page, use the incredible language that he uses on a daily basis with his fantastic agents and his network that he does. And Jerry said to me, right, come on then, Stephen, what do you reckon? How much are we going to go for? And Jerry said, yeah, 10,000. So I said, no, let's think big. Let's go for 50,000. And little did I realize, coming up to, I think it's 3 years on now, just hit over 140,240 pounds. And 1,375 tablets and laptops have gone out. And I think I've got another 1,100 in my account through the superhuman Ian Macbeth and what he is doing. 10 marathons in 10 weeks. I think this weekend, I don't know when this goes out, actually would have finished, but absolutely incredible. And so there's definitely going to be more tablets and laptops going out to schools around there. So Ian, superhuman effort, well done. And I just want to say one massive thank you to you, Jerry, but a massive thank you to every single person who have contributed to Computer for Schools, whether you're a supplier, whether you're an estate agent, whether you're an individual, whoever it is, the schools are incredibly grateful. So thank you. Anyway, that's a bit of an introduction. I bet you don't get many of those introductions.
It's always good to be reminded about that, because I remember when you went 50,000, you said it on the podcast. It was with Andy and Luke.
Yeah.
Andy, Luke himself. And I remember thinking, oh, that is a punch. 50 grand, you lunatic. But then every time I remember you messaged me when it got up to 50, reminded me. And then when it got to 100, you reminded me. And then ever since, I'm getting it sort of like 20 grand increments of, oh, we're up to 140 now, we're up to this. But no, I think it's a brilliant thing. And you know what as well? It's not just the schools that benefit, right? So the schools benefit, but think of individual. Do you know what I mean? And if you remember as well, and this is something I don't think is talked enough about the Computer for School campaign, is remember other agents actually did their kind of their own micro computers for schools. Now, I remember a guy who, Stephen Hurd, My London Home, yeah?
Yeah.
So he did a similar thing around about the time to raise money. Somebody donated anonymously, I was going to say mysteriously, but anonymously, £10,000 to the appeal that he was doing, yeah? And what they said was, I was one of those, it was beautiful. Once I was one of those kids that would have needed that computer. So obviously somebody who's done really well in life, but I read that and I thought, and that's the knock-on effect, because we've got the core thing, what you're doing, but think of all those satellites around the core, the sun idea sort of thing. So I think, yeah, kudos to you for that, yeah. But stop reminding me, yeah. Remind me when it's 200, and then I really will be humbled.
And then I can stop.
Yeah, you shut up, yeah.
I will shut up. So, ethical estate agency.
Yeah.
I know you've got your network, which is starting very soon, that I want to discuss with you.
Yeah.
I've had, I would say, the last 3 months really interesting experiences with estate agents, looking at it on the consumer side. So my mum is selling, and my girlfriend and buying, and my mum and my girlfriend is buying and selling. And wow, it's scary out there. And I think I've come to the conclusion that the consumer actually doesn't understand what an estate agent does, or the estate agents are so, and I know there's amazing estate agents, and I know all the people in your network are superb, because obviously you wouldn't let them in, because there's loads of strict requirements there. But either they're incredibly complacent and just think, you know what, people need to buy and sell, so they're going to come to us anyway. So we don't need to give them customer service. I mean, I'll share with you a couple of examples. So walked into, in fact, my girlfriend called an agent, I think on the Tuesday. And on the Wednesday, we were seeing another property for another agent in the area. So I said, come on, we're going to that agent, introduce ourselves, because we want to be forefront of mind. So if they see something, they're going to remember you. So the door was locked when we got there, which I can get. The lady was eating all her crisps, which when she saw us, literally ended up on the floor and on her desk and absolutely everywhere. She got up to open the door, then her phone's ring, so she sits down to answer the phone. Then she gets back up, opens the door and goes, "What do you want?"
No.
And that's the start of a conversation.
What do you think? I've come for a sausage roll. What did you think?
Yeah, you're an estate agent. You know, yes, there's a nice butcher's down the road, but no, you're an estate agent. We've come in to have a conversation, you know, whether it's looking to buy, looking to sell. We are then, this is a phone call. So phone up, seen the property on Rightmove, Zoopla, whatever it is, like to see it. Why? What do you mean why? Because you're advertising it, and we think it will suit our needs. Oh, well, that one's under offer. Okay, can we register our details? No. If you see something you like on Zoopla and Rightmove, just give us a call. Okay. Now, they don't know her situation. They didn't ask any questions whatsoever. And you're just thinking, and this company's been going for 30 years. So, and actually, you know, they've got loads of properties on their books. They've most probably got the biggest market share. Yeah. And they've probably just got really, really complacent. And you just think, why? Yeah. So, what is an ethical estate agent?
Just before I get into that, what was the reputation? You know, like this place where you had such a bad experience. What was your perception of them before that experience?
Good name, been in the area for a long time. I don't know whether my expectations are higher because I work and train a lot of estate agents, but from my experience, I would say, and I'm going to shoot myself in the foot here, 95% of estate agents are absolutely useless, have no idea. And in fact, I was talking with my girlfriend last night, and she just said, all estate agents are interested in is their money, and that's it. Okay. They're not interested, because I keep on talking about, it's about a client for life. You know, you give this exceptional customer experience, they're going to recommend you to their friends, their family, their colleagues, and you're going to be their agent for life. And she just said, no, it's not like that. Every agent I've come across, they just want their money, and that's it. And as soon as they've sold your property, they don't give.
Yeah. But you know what?
But that's your job.
In my experience of buying and selling houses, we've probably done it, I don't know, 6 or 7 times over the years with different things. I've never had any wow moments, or even, I can't even point back to feeling valued moments, let alone wow moments, which is interesting, because I know you asked the question, what do I think an ethical agent is? I think it's somebody that takes that sort of thing very, very, very seriously. You know, they do. But Spencer Lawrence summed it up perfectly. What's an ethical agent? It's someone who always does the right thing for their clients, even if it's going to cost them a few quid, or make them lose a sale, or pass them on to somebody else who's better served. I think it's that simple about what is an ethical agent. It's someone who, it's an agency that always do the right thing for their clients, their colleagues, the community. I think that's a big thing as well, because you're talking about like an agent for life there. And like I said to you before we came on here, I was speaking with Gavin, who runs a company called Howgates in Essex, do loads of stuff for the community. Now, Gavin gets recommended on Facebook by people that have never used his company. But why? Because he does so much for the community. So the brand association in his neck of the woods is, oh, those guys are great. You know, he's up against bigger companies, corporates, bigger sort of independents even. but because he's willing to give back and do the right thing for his community, he benefits from it. And he's not doing it to benefit from it as well. That's the thing I've noticed, that with all the agents that get, and you'll see it as much as I see it, the agents that get involved with their community and do it really sincerely, they don't expect anything in return, even though exponentially they get stuff in return. You know, it's call it karma, call it what you will, brand awareness, but they do the right things. And I know that when we were talking about this lunchtime learnings today, I think we're entering the era of the ethical agent. And I think 3 factors are playing into that, Steve, right? Internet, there's no hiding place for the shit agents, which thank God for the internet. I know it's a curse and a blessing, the internet, but in this case, for the consumer, for the clients, it's a blessing, because they can check a client's Google reviews. They can check an agent's Google reviews. They can ask for testimonials and this sort of stuff. I also think you got the internet. I think COVID had an impact on things as well, where there were some agencies that did nothing but sort of shut up and think, I'll take that money from the government, you know, the furlough and all that sort of stuff. Others were active, especially either with content in their community. And I think that they went ahead in this ethical race. And the third point as well is more and more people making decisions based on, they don't just want a business to do the business. They want to see businesses actually doing good, especially if it's a local business, you know. And estate agents, you can't get much more local business than somebody that sells local houses. That is the most local business you can have. Do you know what I mean? They're a staple of the high streets, you know. You can go to the high streets now, loads of charity shops, loads of estate agents, you know. And I'm a bit with you on this. I read an article, was it about 2 weeks ago, when it said how many estate agents had closed down? I sort of thought, good. And I don't mean that to sound horrible or harsh, but there's a reason they shut down. There's a reason. It's the same I used to do before I got really heavily involved in estate agency marketing and that sort of thing. I worked with a pub owner. He's still got the pub. It's called the Queen's Head in Pinner. It's won an award. He took it over when it was on its arse, right? First thing he did, he said, we've got to stop calling the people who come in punters. He said, they're guests. We have to treat them like they're guests at a top hotel. We have to give them the best products, the cleanest toilets, the best beer, the best selection. He's the poster boy now for this big brewery. It's like, I'd imagine now, I haven't spoken to him for a couple of years, but back then, sort of 2021, the brewery would like saying to him, whatever you need, we will give you, because we're saying to people, it doesn't have to be this way for a pub. You know, you don't have to be, it's going to close down. If you provide a better level of service, he invested in his staff. It's unheard of team. He didn't call them staff, he called them team. And the parallels are the same with the good agencies we know. All the top ones do all the same things. They actually do all the same things. The top independent agents are very similar to each other. You know? And I think the key for anyone aspiring to be like that is just copy them. It's like Dave Gibbons, Courtyard, said to me, he said, I'll find, and he's got multiple businesses, Dave. And he said, when I go into a business, I'll spend time and I'll look at whoever's the best in that industry. And he said, I will research. I mean, he said he'll study them. Yeah. And that makes perfect sense, because if you wanted to be a really good, I don't know, you wanted to be a really good sales trainer, prospecting trainer, copy Stephen Brown, as a few people have done, I've seen recently. Do you know what I mean? It's like, if I want to get good, like if I wanted to be a good grassroots football coach, I would copy my daughter's football coach. So what's he doing? Because he's spot on. Do you know what I mean? So you can probably tell I'm quite passionate about it, because the agents that care deserve all the support they can get, in my opinion. Do you know what I mean?
100%. So look, you work with a number of agents, the best agents in the UK. So what do you say, if you had to say, here are the 5 top qualities of these agents, what would they be?
All right, so the number one thing, and I've spoken about this in the past, I was asked this question about what was the one thing they all had in common. They all do stuff for their community. All of them. Other things are they've got people in charge, the leaders, who don't really feel like leaders. You know, it's I don't know whether it's Simon Sinek or Josh Fiegel or one of them. You know, this leaders. So
yeah,
your job as a leader is to create more leaders within your team. So I'd say community, leaders, obsession with customer service. They don't flip flop. They know what they're, and I've seen a real example of this recently. I don't think I can go into it, but an agent, I'm going to go into it actually, an agent who is renowned for flip flopping, and maybe they've been a client of yours, maybe they've been a client of mine, maybe they've been a client of John Paul's, maybe they've been a client of a certain software house and this sort of stuff. Every year they're onto a different thing. And it's always the person they've left behind. It was, yeah, they weren't doing it for me. That's why I've gone to this one. But it's like this all the time. They never took responsibility. They haven't got a clear vision of what they are. So they change from the scatty. Do you know what I mean? Where it's a bit like we were talking, again, to go back to football, we were talking about Tottenham now. Tottenham Hotspur is doing well as we speak. Much the pain in my heart when I say that. But they've got a clear identity. They have.
Do you want to say that again, please?
Yeah. But they've got, and I think the best agents or the best businesses are very clear about what they stand for. And this is why we set up the Ethical Agent Network, because I like to work with people that I think are doing the best possible job. It brings the best out of me. I'm sure you're the same. You might have gone and done a training session with a company. You think they've only just got me in just to tick a box or just to use up a bit of budget. It's not the same for you, because you don't get that buzz of being people that are really passionate and at it and that sort of thing. And I think, so let me go back to your question. So I'm rambling. Community, number one. This sort of desire, this obsession with customer service. Yeah, the leaders, they all take responsibility. I think what's my fifth point? What would be the fifth thing?
I got it. What you said earlier. They invest in training and development.
Well, they do, yeah. And I think you've got to, yeah. I think you've got to, because how can you moan at someone for not doing the job right when you haven't shown them how to do it right in the first place? You know, and I think that's you know what, I've been guilty of that sometimes with my team. I kind of think that they can read my mind, which would be a terrible place to read. But I haven't shown them what I wanted. So I think if you're really clear, and it always goes, and to go back to sporting analogy and all, the best coaches, one of the things you always hear about the best coaches, attention to detail. Guardiola will tell a player, you're 1 yard away from where I need you to be. 1 yard. Football pitch is massive. You're 1 yard, because that 1 yard is a microsecond, and that microsecond could be the pass that gets the ball out to De Bruyne and bang. You know, so I think attention to detail is really important as well. Yeah.
Good. So tell us about the network. What is it? When's it starting? Who's in it? How do you join?
Right. Okay. So it's called the Ethical Agent Network. It starts on March the 4th. Officially, it's been an idea that's been kicking around for a year. Basically, the idea came about from a conversation kind of like this, where somebody said to me, what's the one thing that estate agents, the best ones that I've worked with and our company have worked with over 12, 14 years, have in common? And it was, they're all ethical. I could trust them all. You know, they all do stuff for their community. They all pay their bills on time, as another thing as well. You know? So from the genesis of that idea was, well, what if we brought together all the most ethical agent networks in the country, independents, non-competing? I really don't buy into this. If it's that ethical, they won't mind being competing. It doesn't work like that. It just you've seen it. It just doesn't work. Non-competing models do work, right? So we're bringing them together, and we're giving them the tools, like things like training, content, community, just togetherness, having a place where they can talk about their issues, ideas, experiences, share their insights, this sort of thing. But also, we will be promoting them with their community campaigns. So that's a big part of it as well. So every quarter, we'll be helping them with their community campaigns. We'll do things like, and I know we've done it for a couple of agents already that have signed up sort of pre-launch. We'll continue to do this. Everyone who signs up with us, what we'll do is we'll give you money for a computer, and then if you do your thing with it. So what we would do off the back of that computer donation, we provide them all the content and templates they need to really promote it. So what we're trying to do is make community giving even easier for them, because the really good agents, they want to do it, but sometimes it's time. It's not really money with a lot of them. They're very generous, but it could be time. So we're filling that time void for them. We're also like producing. I know me and you share this obsession with Google reviews, but we're doing a lot of work around Google reviews. That's part of our application process, because you asked there how people could join. This ain't a pay for play network. You can't just go, oh, here's the cash, sign me up. It doesn't work like that, because then it could be for anyone. And one of the key things about the ethical agency, it's not for everyone. There's what's our strapline. It's not for everyone. Some people won't care. Some people won't buy into the ethical side of it. Even some clients and consumers won't care. They just want the lowest fee or the highest valuation, this sort of stuff. So our criteria is you have to have a set amount of Google reviews, which currently is, I have to have at least 50, 4.5 average. Now, some people go, oh, I had somebody, and we had to turn them away. They're a letting agency, and they had something like 4.0 out of, I don't know, 120, something like that. And their complaint to me was, I'm a letting agent. If I'm going to get a dodgy review, it's going to be from a disgruntled tenant. I get that. 100% get that. Paramount Properties only do lettings. Yeah. Spencer's side of it. I know the things sort of changed there slightly. How have they managed to maintain that 4.8, 4.9 average over thousands of reviews? So we're looking for agents that really, that's the first criteria. It can't be a conversation before that, you know. Then we want to look at, have you done at least 2 things for your community within the 12 months of your application? Then we've got a set of member promises. And one of those promises is, and I think it's very valid, especially for an industry that's got a bit of a reputation problem, is one of the promises we promise not to criticize our rivals in public. Because could you imagine, you know, like if we're banging on about higher standards in estate agency and professionalism, can you imagine a doctor slagging off another doctor? Do you know what I mean? You imagine, Steve, right? You go see Dr. Smith. You walk in Dr. Smith and go, oh, I've got a sore neck. Oh, what have you been doing? Well, I saw Dr. Cohen last week. Oh, that Dr. Cohen, shit. Do you know what I mean? You just wouldn't happen in that professional environment, you know? So that was one of the first things we said when we've got an advisory team of the likes of Spencer, Assad, Vicky, Michelle Gallagher, some really top agents. Nick Cheshire, great emerging agent, does so much for his community. Dave Gibbons, serial entrepreneur, but really, really good guy. Abigail Gray as well. And they sort of said, we've got to get rid of this, where agents snipe at each other. And I think as well, that promise alone, and I think this can be adapted and adopted by anyone in the state agency. When you're on evaluation, say, look, you may have other people come in. I just want you to know we're not going to criticize or slag off our rivals. Maybe not slag off because it's a bit slang, but we won't get into that criticizing our rivals and saying, oh yeah, but we just don't get into that conversation. And I think by coming out so front-footed with that, you're showing a level of integrity, and that's what we want. We want to work with good agents, like exceptional agents, really good people. That's what we're after. And yeah, we're going to launch March the 4th. We've currently got 20 members signed up. That's mainly through our estate agent content club businesses. People are transitioning over from that. But we're excited. I think it can definitely make a difference. And I think we're going to do something a little bit special. I'm not saying I'm the special one, by the way, in case you try and draw Mourinho-esque.
You're talking to a Mourinho lookalike here. I joking aside, I got stopped last Friday at Barnet Football Club to say you look like Jose, and I said you are not the first time that I've actually been stopped in West Hampstead,
right,
coming out of a place in Euston.
Yeah.
Saying, Jose, how are you doing?
Yeah, what though? You know what I can see now though, and I'm sure the viewers will back me up on this. Claudio Ranieri. Come on, Claudio.
I wish I was as successful as both of those.
Same as that.
Definitely my football teams. So we'll wait and see. So final question, couple of final questions. So who inspires Jerry Lyons and why?
This is probably the cheesy moment. I'm supposed to say Nelson Mandela or somebody that's actually done some good for the world, isn't I?
I've always wanted to tag Nelson Mandela in my podcast, so thank you.
Yeah. Who inspires me? You know what? I'd say my daughter, and my missus Wendy, because Wendy's just recently graduated from university, age 51. What I like about that is Wendy's one of these women. She don't give a shit about it. You know, someone. Oh, don't tell her my age. Wendy does not care, and that's what I love about her. Do you know what I mean? So she's just graduated with a distinction, which apparently is really good. I'm not university educated, and I think the inspiration with my daughter is I see how hard she works at stuff. She's big into sport. She works really hard, but also she behaves in the right way. Like sometimes I wish I was as grown up as some of the stuff she comes out with. Do you know what I mean? So I'd say my family and Mahatma Gandhi.
Okay. Thank you.
I had to say someone with gravitas, didn't I? Yeah.
Okay, so if people want to know more about the network,
Google that. F Gradient Network, wherever it is on the screen. Yeah.
Okay, lovely. Well, look, thank you for your time. I think what you do for loads of estate agents and their community is amazing. I think watching your business grow and what you do with the Karma Club is just absolutely fantastic. Seeing your Google reviews go through the roof is very impressive as well. But the Karma Club, I think, is absolutely brilliant. And you're helping so many communities throughout the UK. It's amazing. So keep up the amazing work, Mr. Lyons.
You too, and thanks for having me. And I'll be in touch about this. Every new member gets a laptop.
Amazing. Lovely. Thank you, everybody, for watching, listening. Share, like, get the message out. Let's help Jerry. Let's see more ethical estate agents out there. And the truth is, mostly everybody watching this, I think you already are. But please share it. Let's get more agents on board. Thanks a lot. Bye.